So I want to understand from your perspective in a ground, when you went on the first day and after that, who was the first person to whom you interacted?
It is not always that everybody will get the chance to follow the same path.
There's a lot of gimmick around go and build a strategy, go and build the program. What is your opinion, when you were in as an employee and all that? So how you see this as a process?
See, strategy will come, I will say, this is a phase 2 activity when you're joining as a new in the organization.
So once we understand this requirement and the way you talk about the case study, they're releasing the applications and all that, then what is the next step after that?
Next step is once you understand the organization and the people and the culture, but that's the first thing to understand to build anything new or to bring any change.
Where this security program comes?
Security program is nothing but is a security function. And why I call it as a program is because it's not a project.
Hi guys, welcome to the session, and today we have a special guest, my mentor, Mr. Rahul Kokcha. We already did a lot of podcasts in the past and we got an amazing review on that. And on the special request, he come back and this time is very special because there's a lot of noise regarding, when you join any organization or when you hire any security manager or CISO, how he starts cybersecurity, how he build information security. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of ChatGPT content is there. So I thought, let me discuss this topic with Rahul sir, because this is a person who implement end-to-end cybersecurity from scratch in one of the company, handle a lot of billion-dollar projects. And today there is no gimmick, there's no theory. We're going to discuss a practical workflow which help you to implement cybersecurity in your organization from scratch. And if you're new to the video, do subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss the future videos on a similar topic. So today, let's welcome Mr. Rahul sir. Rahul sir, good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Hello, Prabh, and thank you very much for inviting me again. And I hope this will be will be useful for your audience.
Definitely, sir. And I'm very excited. And again, your student is here. We're going to ask a lot of questions, and it is a duty as a teacher to answer those questions.
Yeah, definitely. I will love.
But I'm a slow learner.
I will love to.
Thank you, sir. Sir, before we start about, as I already recorded one of your podcasts with you, but for the subscribers, can you just share your brief introduction, because there will be new subscribers who come to my channel, come to this channel. So can you just share your journey about cybersecurity as CISO?
Yeah. So I started my journey in the days of Windows 95, 98.
Oh.
Fine. And at that time, there used to be a big business of computer assembly at that time. And I was lucky enough to get a chance of my internship into a software development company at that time, and which was a very small shop. And from there, I learned about how the IT industry actually works. And I was an administrator managing their systems, and then I got some good chances of building a bigger networks. And at that time, having a 100-bus system in an organization used to be a big thing, right? So I got a chance to build a network of 300 system at that time. So from there, I brushed up. This is how I entered into the industry. And from 2006 onwards, I entered into cybersecurity. Right? Oh. That was again I was also equally scared as the other people are in the term security, but this was a given to me as an opportunity. I took it as a challenge. That the more you are scared of, definitely the more how long you can be, because security. I knew the security is a future, so I accepted the challenge. That's not a challenge given as a challenge, official challenge, but I accepted it as a challenge for myself. Yes, this is something that I want to learn and I want to go into this field. So in 2006, I started my journey from penetration testing. Then I moved into the software security products, and firewalls, IDS, IPS, and all. At that time, there were no DLP and MDM system. Then from 2011 onwards, I am into GRC.
So I want to ask you one question on this part. When you join the organization, okay, how was your first day?
My first day,
because you already CISSP that time, and I'm sure that you were already some, we talk about this theoretical certifications and all that, and you know that, right? When you work in the organization, things are different, right? So the first day when you join the organization, how you experience that? And the reason for asking this question is that because there's a lot of viewers who going through the same thing, they got an opportunity in the new company and what to do on the first day.
See, the first day is always probably as any other employee, fine. I was nervous as well as excited. Fine, nervous because the things were new to me, and excited because I had the chance to use my knowledge there. Right? So I was 27001 certified, I CISSP certified, CISM certified, and lots of I had that time also I had 20 plus certifications. Right? But when it comes to building a system from scratch, right? So that is something what I learned. I practiced there basically. So that was a really very big opportunity for me. If I see today, and how I started from there and how I built that. So, but yes, in any organization, and I'm taking this as, for example, if anyone, any of your audience, fine, is also joining a company as a security manager, and they'll be given the task to manage the security compliance and the governance framework. So the very first thing that comes to anyone, that should come to everyone, finally, is that you should first understand what the organization is all about. Right? So I knew the business of the organization, because when you got interviewed, you definitely explore what this company is into, and definitely they will ask the questions accordingly. If you don't understand the company business, you cannot even clear the interview also, because they will ask the relevant questions you won't be able to answer. So that ways I was aware of, okay, how this what the company is about. It was a software development company and software services company. We went to software development and software testing, and so my opportunity was that I was the first one to start looking into their compliance program. So they had a compliance in place. They were certified from past 7 years, but if you look at the ground level implementation, it was not there. So it was like, oh, they have some bunch of papers and they're getting audited every year, and they're passing the certification audit, and they're certified. But when it comes to looking into what is the outcome of it, fine, it was just a bunch of papers and nothing else.
Okay, so that's why. So as we see, like we see a lot of theory around. Okay, the first day you go and understand the business requirement, but that's not reality. So I want to understand from your perspective, when in a ground, when you went on the first day, and after that, who was the first person to whom you interacted?
It is not always that everybody will get the chance to follow the same path, right? But the key stakeholders that you need to meet, right, is the very first is that you need to first understand. To understand the business, you need to first understand like who is currently handling those responsibilities for which you have been hired. And you will take some brief from them. Okay, in my case, it was a director, someone in a director position, fine, performing a dual role in quality and security, fine. So he was the one who was handling those cybersecurity things, the compliance thing, and getting the audits and managing all audits, and getting the organization certified in the past 7 years. So you need to understand, okay, who is the one, who is your go-to person, who can tell you what this role is about, and the specifics of like what the current state is at the very high level. Fine. Then what the requirements are, fine, and basically you have to meet all teams, fine, one by one. And when you are into the compliance, because you're not only working for yourself, fine, we are not delivering any business. As a cybersecurity, we are not delivering any business, but we are trying to secure the business from all the functions. So whether it is IT, HR, physical security, service delivery, right? So all these things we have to make sure that those functions are secured, and we have to maintain the information security across all the functions. So I met with the executive vice president first, and then the vice president, because those were my direct. I was reporting to them directly. To one, I was direct reporting, and the other one was dotted line reporting. So those were the people who I met first, after like the director, because the director was again, to meet the senior leadership, there also you need to understand what their perspective is before you go and meet them, right? So I was a defensive player at that time, so I was very careful about, okay, what I do, where I go, to whom I meet, what question I ask. So I met the senior leadership, and I tried to understand from them, okay, that what are the objectives they have for the cybersecurity. And there was one conflict as well. Conflict in the sense, not as a conflict, but there's a difference of opinion. So one of the the person out of the two, like, who was focused on, okay, can we start that, because I was coming from consulting background. He said, oh, can we start the security as a consulting? Fine. But when I speak to the top management, the highest most person in the company, he said, no, we don't want to get into this. Fine. We just want you to manage the show, because we have some of the key clients who are very much concerned about security, including they have banking customers. And so that was the focus area, that you don't focus on that building something for the service delivery, because that is something we don't want to get into. And we just want you to manage the show from the security and compliance perspective, that any audits we have, anything what comes to us, we should be ready for it. And it should not be, okay, for every audit, currently I see that was given. That's what the message given to me. I see that currently a lot of business disruptions happening whenever there is an audit. Fine, I want this to be a regular show, fine, a regular activity, not as a, okay, something audit is coming and then you are disturbing every team. What can you do to build the papers? So that is what we don't want. So that was a very clear message that yes, I'm not hired for the service delivery. I'm hired for the internal governance.
Okay.
So that was my start point.
So thank you so much, and that give you good insight about the stakeholders and all that. Now my next question is, okay, there's a lot of gimmick around go and build a strategy, go and build the program. What is your opinion? When you were in as an employee and all that, so how you see this as a process?
See, strategy will come I'll say it's a phase 2 activity. When you're joining as a new in the organization, the first thing is you go and meet all stakeholders. Fine. We only talked about the top management. Top management is giving their perspective, fine, but you don't know what is the ground reality. So to understand the ground reality and the challenges those people are facing, because you are here as a business enabler, right? So there are sometimes people take decisions which is a showstopper for the other business function. For example, you say, okay, I cannot allow so-and-so services through the firewall, right? But the team sometimes really need this, and you need to figure out the way that how you can manage the security and also enable the teams. So that will not happen only if you meet the top management, right? So this is what I did actually. I started meeting all the business leaders, trying to understand what they understand from cybersecurity, so that I get the perspective also. Then also understanding what challenges they are facing in the current situation, right? And what are the top 2-3 things what they want me to solve. Right? So that gave me the good perspective, and this also gives you an idea about, this is a totally talking about the practical. This also gives you an idea about, okay, who has what level of influence in the organization. And that is very important. Some people will resist, some people will support. Right? So you understand, okay, who are those guys who are in support to build the cybersecurity program, and who are the guys who are resisting this change. Right? So that understanding an organization, not from business or cybersecurity perspective, but also from people perspective, is also very important. You build relations, then you deliver better. If you're seen as a just an auditor or a cybersecurity guy who is mostly perceived as in a negative notion.
True.
Then you will not be able to achieve your objectives basically, right? You will not be able to perform your job well. So in the very first instance, what I saw was there was a team who built a program. They wanted to release it online, and I was the one say, have you done the testing, security testing? We have done our testing. Well, have you done the security testing? No, we have not done it. Fine. So then we cannot release this program. I like, who are you to stop it? I see, I've been hired for this. Fine. There's an objective for this position. Fine. I cannot simply allow you to just go online without doing any test. Fine. So yes, this might be a new thing for you. I'm okay to help you with this. I will not hold you for this for a long time, but you allow me at least few days so that we can get the exercise done, so that we are confident as you are confident with your product. So the organization is also confident enough that we can go online. Fine. I took that approval from my management. Fine. They say, fine, we are okay to delay it for a few days, and then you do whatever testing you want to do. We got the testing done. We found certain serious issues about it, and then those issues are fixed. And then the team also realized, yes, we are here to enable them, to support them. Right? And that tool was also it was an in-house developed tool to reset the passwords. Oh. Fine. So at that time, probably the self-service password management was not there. Fine. So the team was there. SSPM, they call this SSPM, self-service password management. They built their own tool, which was resetting the passwords for the Active Directory. I said, man, with this, you can reset the password of the administrator also. So what if you go online and somebody just compromise this? And you are not restricting even our system administrator, our top management, somebody can reset their password also. And so we excluded those IDs. We identified some of the critical the roles. So which we specified that for these people, this SSPM will not work online. Fine. So they have to call, they have to raise a ticket or get the ticket raised through the other people to get the password reset. So that was something you need to understand the business. You need to understand what the challenges are, what the risks are. Fine. That you will get to know if you go and meet all teams. You build the rapport. before implementing anything, before bringing any change, it's very important to build the reputation in the organization.
So once we understand this requirement and the way you talk about the case study, they're releasing the applications and all that, then what is the next step after that?
So next step is like once you understand the organization and the people and the culture, but that's the first thing to understand to build anything new or to bring any change. So after that, you will conduct a thorough risk assessment. Fine. You call it as a gap assessment, you call it as an audit, fine, because the key information what we want to know is that where do we stand today, fine, and what is the improvement areas that we have. Fine. So some of the improvement areas are the serious concerns, we call it as a risk. Some of the improvement areas are maybe just the add-ons what we can do to improve the things. Fine. Sure. So a comprehensive exercise is needed. Anyone who is joining new in the organization, fine, after you understand the organization, you should schedule time with different teams. And why I'm saying teams here is because when you just try to understand the context and the organization, you meet the leadership. But when you want to assess the risk, you need to work with the people who are actually working on the ground, who are implementing those things, following those processes. It is not that you will just talk to the leadership and understand what the risks are. When you will sit with the team, will see how they are performing, what they are doing, what they are performing, what their process is, what are the interfaces to different departments, different applications and systems, and then you identify the risk. Once you identify the risk, you build up your risk register. And from the risk register, you will definitely share with the top management and also share with the stakeholders.
Excellent.
Right? And from there, you will set up your risk treatment plan.
Okay.
Now, some of the things are something to be done on priority. Some of the things can take time. Some of the things requires the budget. Some of the things you can do in this quarter. Some of the things you cannot do even in this year, in this financial year.
Okay.
So that comes to we need to build the strategy.
Okay.
Right? The strategy will be built after the risk assessment is done. And based on the outcome of the risk assessment, we'll identify, okay, how much budget and how much time and effort is needed. Fine. So strategy is nothing but a roadmap that how you will achieve this objective. So our objective is that we identified the gaps. We have some risks. Fine. We have to fix all those risks.
Strategy is act like a control also.
Strategy it's a administrative control, I will say. Fine. And it is basically a plan how you will address the cybersecurity and the governance in the organization.
True.
Fine. So that is a roadmap, fine, and based on the priorities of your findings, fine, you will build that roadmap, and according to the time, effort, and budget also.
True.
You will see what other things can be done quickly. You need budget approvals, and maybe a lot of bureaucracy will happen.
Okay.
And once you develop that strategy, fine, you need to talk to the top management, because if you go and talk to a business function, it may not be his priority. Fine.
Consolidated viewpoint will come from management only.
So if you have the management buy-in, then everyone will follow. Right. So first step is understanding organization, then building a rapport and identifying the requirements. Fine. The requirements can be legal, regulatory, your customer requirements, anything. Fine. So second step is understanding where do you stand today. Fine. And based on that, you build your strategy, and then you follow your strategy.
Okay.
At the high level, this will set the implementation roadmap.
Okay. And I want to come back to the question of risk assessment. Okay. So can you just give us can you walk through one example? Because what we learn in certifications and all that, asset. Can you just give one use case or one example? Prabh, this should be the asset. This should be the possible threat vulnerability. This is how we document. So is it possible for you to share?
Yes, definitely. And it should not be only asset based. Fine. So it can be service based as well. Fine. And I prefer service based model because it's a lot more simplified version. Because when you comes to the asset, then you have to identify the value of the asset, threats and vulnerabilities applicable to the asset. Then it's a lot of complex calculations are there. Fine. So when you talk about this at the service level, fine, which service is more critical for me? Fine. For example, if I talk about any like e-commerce company, fine, for them the e-commerce portal is a critical service. If that service is down, their entire business is down. They cannot do any business. Fine. So based on that, you identify, okay, what all things can go wrong with this service. Fine. Now this service is running out of some assets. Fine. There's some software, there's some hardware which is running this service. Fine. Sure. So that you can associate with this service. Fine. But like doing a risk assessment service based and an asset based. Fine. The concept how you start with and the things you take into consideration, that changes the entire exercise. Fine. So the service base is much simpler, fine, and is much business oriented as compared to the asset base. And this is my opinion.
Excellent.
And yes, in the service base also, like you have the consideration of the assets, right?
Okay.
So from there you can start with, okay, what can be the impact on my this service, fine, what is the likelihood that this service can go down, fine, and what are the things which can bring it down, what are the threats basically, and based on that you will identify your treatment options.
Excellent. And so once you done with the risk assessment, sir, you said about building a strategy and all that. Then what next after that?
So once you have the strategy, you have to roll out the strategy, talk to the teams, assist them in assign the basically the action items.
Can you give an example of strategy document content? What should
So strategy will start with the organization introduction, like what this organization is. I will say in terms of the this is one. This is called as a context of the organization. Any strategy should talk about the organization first.
context? Yeah.
Fine. So what this organization is about, and then what the current state is. Fine. What our vision and mission is. Fine. So that and what our cybersecurity objectives are. Right? So in strategy, you can also include business objectives if you have if you can detail that. Fine. And you can link those business objectives with the cybersecurity objectives as well. It depends upon how detailed you want to create, what is your expertise, fine, and what are the information available to you. Fine. So starting with the organization, business objectives, then how your cybersecurity objectives will support the business objectives, and what are the specifics to then your security objectives that you want to address here. Right? So then you will identify the risk areas,
You document it also.
and then you will identify the treatment options. And those treatment options, every treatment option will require some time, effort, and budget.
Okay.
Right? So based on that, you will align what I will do first, what I will do next. So you can have a quarterly plan. And some people can get monthly plan as well. Some people get quarterly plan. Okay, these are the things, items I do cover, finish on this quarter. Fine. So this is the budget will be needed. So everyone is aligned basically. Okay, this is something we have to achieve in this quarter. So management is also aware of it now. Now team is also aware of it, and the budget is also planned for it. So that the things can go as per our plan on the ground.
Excellent. And once we basically roll out the strategy, after that, what is the next step then?
So strategy is what your action plan basically. Fine. So action plan need to have action owners. Fine. So you will sit with the team, explain to them what is needed, and how they understand this, fine, and how you want to make them understand. IT will have their own perspective, HR will have their own perspective, and cybersecurity will have their own perspective. Fine. For example, the security awareness program. We're taking very simple non-technical example. A security awareness program. HR will say, fine, somebody will join, we'll give them the induction program, they can do. Then no, you need to specify in how long and how many days they have to finish this up, and how they need to track it then. Fine. Then they finish it for 30 days, 45 days. Fine. And if they are not finishing off, then you have to push them to finish this. When HR will see, oh, this is additional task. You have to follow up, I have to monitor. Fine. But this is required. Fine. Otherwise, those people who are coming in the organization, joining the organization, and not being made aware of the policies, they will do something probably that you don't want to.
True.
And don't want to see in the organization. So this is important to sit with the team, making them understand why this action is there, right? And also help them in achieving that action, in implementing that action. Right? So that will build a rapport. Right? And will also, they will not see, okay, they have been given just task and being forced to do it. Right? They will see everyone supports you who understand what you are doing. If people see you are trying to support the business, people will follow you. And they'll say, okay, a new manager has come and he's just trying to impose certain cybersecurity things. People will resist those changes.
And once we basically talking about this example that you said and all that, what is the next further steps which we do? Like it's part of continuous validations. So yeah.
So once those action items are being implemented, fine, you will validate whether it is being done correctly or not. Because you cannot be always there when people are doing it. Right? So once they do this, they report to you, yes, I have done my job and I've done this so and so action as we completed. So you will go and validate it. Right? We'll see whether the things are as expected or not. Right? Some of the things you will find as expected, some of the things you will find requires improvement.
Okay.
So based on that, you will also take a box now. Fine. Yes, this is done. So once the activities are done or largely done or partially done, depending on how big your strategic action items are, you can have the you can initiate the measurement part. You build the KPIs, fine, and the things that, see, something is not being done, definitely you cannot build a KPI out of it.
True.
Fine. For example, again, taking the same non-technical example, security awareness. If you know now security awareness is been implemented, people are being pushed to complete in 30 days time. Then you can you can measure the performance. Fine. Okay, how many people joined, how many people completed on time. Fine. So that will give you some assurance. Yes, my processes are all adequately implemented. Fine. And then you can have the audit cycles that you will go and conduct the internal audit, sit with the different functions and see how well they are performing, how effectively those controls are implemented, and how efficiently those things are being performed. And based on that, you will identify some more improvement areas, and that will be a continuous improvement cycle.
Excellent. And sir, there is a lot of buzzword around, we call it security program. So where did it fit? Like, okay, we set strategies there, we rolling out the things. So we know about each and every document here. Then where did this security program comes?
So this entirely is a security program actually.
Okay. So we can club it as a one program. We can.
Security program is nothing but is a security function. Fine. Why I call it as a program is because it's not a project. Fine. Project has a start date and end date. Fine. And this is a continuously thing. Fine. So program in terms of a project management or program management definition is again different thing. Fine. But here the program, it is called as a program because this is a continuous thing you will keep doing. Fine. It is a year on year, you will keep identifying the improvement areas and you will keep implementing those improvement areas.
That's really.
And to implement those improvement areas, again, you have a smaller projects. Fine, maybe to build a firewall or to review a firewall, fine, or to conduct an audit, fine, to do the risk assessment. So this will all have a smaller projects as a part of this bigger program.
And it become like a SOP also.
SOP is a kind of how you will carry out the activities. Fine. So program is a set of policies, procedures, and all.
So once this everything is done, his role is over, or what is the other thing he does or she does?
See, cybersecurity guys are always on toes. See that the business is never static. Right? So what you see today, right, identified, okay, these are my gaps and this is what I want to implement. Right? By that time you will implement, you will see a lot of changes have already been made. True. The business requirement has changed. Some new customers have been onboarded. Right? Some new services the organization has started. Right? So those things will keep coming up. Right? Your role should be whenever some changes are happening in the organization, you are actively participating in it. So you understand where the business is going. You can align your cybersecurity according to it. Right? And my current perspective was only with the respect of the governance part, but technology also need to be aligned accordingly. Okay. Right? So if you understand that my organization is moving in a certain direction and the technology I'm using has a limitations, you will, in the due time, you will also replace the technology and will upgrade the technology. Right? So that will also is a role of a security officer only.
That is really great insight, sir, because we got a lot of insights from this sections and all that. And I'm going with the 3 takeaway of this podcast, to be frank. One is that until unless you don't build the rapport, okay, the people will not be comfortable to share the informations. And that become with the accountability and that come with the visibility. Second, then you can talk about the risk assessment, asset-based, service-based. That's a very good point, which you said. And third is basically entire activity. If you keep it simple, it is easy to execute. Yeah. And I'm sure the viewers will get a lot of insight from this podcast. But before you winding up this podcast, do you have any last minute point you want to share with viewers?
Yes. So as a security manager, and you have to think about business first. And don't think about, okay, I want this control to be implemented anyhow. Right? So this is a common mistake people make. Right? So you have to think yourself as a business enabler. See, if there's no business, there's no need of security. True. Right? So you have to think yourself as a business enabler and understand the people's challenge. And when they see you coming in from a positive mindset, in enabling them, they will definitely support you. And they will come to you automatically. They will not bypass you basically. Right? A lot of times I also see like the security function is bypassed in an organization because they see it's a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of hiccups they will bring into. Right? So people don't want. People want, okay, my KPI should be met. Right? So if you are the enabler to them, fine, they will definitely come to consult with you for anything and everything, what they see, there can be a security implication. If they see you as a roadblocker, then you will have a difficult time.
Last point, what you said, it's a very good point. Right? See, everyone talk about that, but the last point you're talking about how you make the people comfortable, then only they will be able to share the information. And that's a very important one. But thank you, sir. Thank you so much for sharing the insight. And I'm sure the listeners will get a lot of viewpoint from this particular podcast. And we're looking forward for more sessions from you on this, and keep spreading the informations. Those who are not aware about, I will share the LinkedIn profile of Mr. Rahul sir on the LinkedIn and the YouTube descriptions. You can directly reach out to them, and I'm sure you get a lot of insight from him. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I hope like this was a learning session for everyone.
At least from
If you're watching, thank you so much. Take care.